3, 2, 1. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Today is Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. It is approximately 6:49 p.m. on a beautiful evening here in El Paso, Texas. As always, guys, co-host of the podcast, Mr. Misael is here with us. Misa, say what's up.
Yo, what it do?
In the producer chair today, guys, we got Dolph Jimenez. Dolph, say what's up to the podcast.
Just got back from your mamas. What's up?
Yo, Dolph.
Aggressive, Jesus Christ. Okay, guys, for episode number Nintendo 64 of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, we have a very special guest. His name is Mr. Cowboy Keith Demolder, guys. Say what's up, Mr. Keith.
How we doing, everybody? Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Hey, there you go, man. Thank you for being here today. We had tried to schedule this pod, I believe the Monday or Tuesday after the Super Bowl, but that shit didn't fall through. And it's kind of good because that Super Bowl kind of sucked. So At least, we have you here on a different occasion. And it wasn't going to be as hyped up as we would have liked it to be. So thank you for joining us today. Where are you coming from today?
We're coming from my apartment over here on the west side of El Paso.
Hey, west side.
There you go. So for the people who do not know Mr. Keith Demolder here, Mr. Keith Demolder is a sports anchor over at KFOX. How long have you been doing that for them?
It's almost going to be a year coming up in April. Ever since last April, I moved out here from San Diego. Briefly, was in San Diego, and taking over for the very talented Mr. Patrick Chalbire.
So you got some big shoes to fill there. So we're glad to have you on the podcast today. We're going to get to know you. We're going to ask you about, how you got started in broadcasting. Me and you had talked about how you spent some time growing up in Southern California, going to USC. So we'll get into all that. But before we do that, guys, we have a tradition on this podcast. It's a tradition unlike any other. And it's called the cracking of the Celebratory beer. And it sounds a little like this. So cheers, everyone. That was a symphony of beer opening there, by the way. That was beautiful.
Good job.
So cheers, guys. Cheers to you, Mr. Demolder, for being on today. I'm going to indulge.
Oh, God bless. That's cold.
Okay. Yes, those are cold. So, Mr. the way we got into contact was actually because we had done an interview with Mr. Keenan Willard. And on the IG post, I think it was IG post or the YouTube page post, you had commented down. You're like, hey, where the hell is my interview? And literally just from there, I started messaging you, and we were able to get to this together. So how do you know Mr. Keenan Willard? Or obviously, right, because you guys both work for Fox.
I mean, who doesn't know the best jawline west of Mississippi? I've worked with Keenan a little bit here or there, and great guy, obviously, very talented. And I look at his Instagram stories a lot, and I saw him on the pod. And I was like, "This sounds like something cool,"
Hell yeah!
Hey, shout out to you, man. Thanks for
reaching out to us, dude. So let's get into a little bit about who you are. For the people who don't know you, and they don't know who the real Keith is, let's get into that a little bit. So you were born in California, or where was it that you were born?
So I was actually born in West Philadelphia. Not raised, though, not like Will Smith. I was born in West Philly and lived there for like a year. Then I moved to LA, then lived in a couple places, moved to San Diego, where my sister was born, then moved to Georgia, lived there for 7 years, moved to Chicago, lived there for 4 years, moved back to LA, then back to San Diego.
God bless.
Graduated from high school there. And then went to USC for 3.5 years, and then moved to Montana after my first job in the biz, and then after that moved back to Cali for like a month, and then moved out here to El Paso.
God,
Jesus, dude. Well, I think that's it, guys. He pretty much told us everything there.
Why did you move so much growing up? Was like your family in the military, or what was it like that made you guys constantly be on the move?
Right. Everybody always asks that. And I think mainly I've only heard that question because I was surprised because it didn't seem that foreign to me when we were moving so much, but military. Sorry, San Diego is a big military presence, so that was a big question there. And then also here, with Fort Bliss and all that. But no, my dad's not in the military. We just basically like it's kind of the same thing that's been ingrained in me is like my parents left California. My mom is from there. My dad is actually Canadian, believe it or not. And my mom actually is half Mexican. So I'm a quarter Mexican technically by blood.
Raza, ese va a decir raza. ¿Verdad que sí? Raza.
And anyway, so like my parents wanted to be back in California, but my dad needed to get promotions and jobs and things like that. So it's like kind of been one of those games where you have to move for the job, and eventually, luckily, we came back to San Diego. So kind of the same thing I'm trying to do right now for myself. But yeah,
right, yeah, dude, that's crazy. You move so much. So did you feel like that like had like an effect on you, like when you were growing up, like you didn't get to make like a lot of close friends? Like I've known this guy since we were fucking like in elementary, middle school. My other friend that's sitting next to us, same thing almost. So it's kind of crazy to think that like you wouldn't even be able to get that chance to make those relationships with people because you're moving around so much.
Man, elementary school back in 1967 for you guys?
57, dog.
50s. Back in 1997, actually, more or less.
God.
Dude, he looks that old, dude. He looks that old. It's the bandana, huh?
I know. It's got to be the Zoom. The Zoom ad's about like 20 years.
We got to change that, dude.
Let's switch to Microsoft Teams or some shit, whatever.
We're going to get a lot of seniors watching our show.
Nah, I'm just messing. Wait, I'm sorry. Oh, was a hard making friend. Yeah, and it was weird because like I kept up with friends. Like I had a couple close friends in Georgia that I would like email back when I was in middle school. That was kind of like our thing was we would like email each other. But then that kind of died out.
And he's calling us old.
I'm sorry?
He called us old. Email.
Yeah.
What is an
I'm
email,
sorry.
though?
It's an electronic message.
Oh.
Exactly. And then, I had some couple friends from Chicago that I was very close with, very tight with, and kept up with in high school because I lived there until I was in the middle of my freshman year and then moved out to LA. So to answer your question, yeah, I actually did keep a lot of really close people because that's kind of the way I've been in my life is that like, I don't know, like if I have a couple really close, like friends at the time, like I'm always going to try and keep them together, I guess, if I see that they're like a great person, whatever. But as the years have gone on, it's harder and harder when you don't see them. So to this day, like I have one friend from Chicago that I really do keep up with. Some other friends, that we follow each other on Instagram and like, oh, like, awesome to see you're doing well, that sort of thing. But, only like a couple that I would actually like invite to my wedding type thing. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that does answer my question. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, like I said, when you move around so much, you never really get that full chance to really like develop that core group of friends and even have friends that you've been like super cool with for like years upon years. But so let's talk about like when you were living in LA. So how was that like? Did you like living there, or was it like too much hustle and bustle for you?
Well, before I answer that question, just real quick on the whole friends thing. Like, it's funny, like, it's so awesome that you guys have that friendship for when you're like in elementary school, whatever. And, I'll never have that, which I've been completely blessed my whole life. Like, I would never change anything from when I was a kid for sure. But I guess like with me, it's made moving easier because like I've been such a friendship nomad,
right?
And I do kind of wish though at times that I had that like group in high school, like, oh yeah, it's like, it's the crew, it's the squad. But I don't know, like, I guess it's nice because like a lot of people have their squad and then they just fall out of touch and then they have like no friends from high school. But for me, I have like a lot of different people that I talk to.
All over the country.
Yeah. Misa used to have like a little brew crew back in the day, right, Misa?
Yeah.
What were you guys called?
The Brew Boys.
The Brew Boys. Wow.
Brew Boys.
Okay. Out of all those Brew Boys, how many do you still talk to?
Like 2, 3, probably.
Like 2. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'll still say what's up, but like keep in contact with about
Right.
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. That's crazy, dude. The Brew Boys. I didn't have an official name for my friend group, I guess. But Brew Boys is good. I probably
Now it's all about the Warzone squads.
the Warzone squad.
Yeah.
So yeah, growing up in LA, how was that? Did you like it there, or was it like too fast paced?
No, I love living in LA. And it's funny. I actually have this friend. His name's Robbie, and he currently lives in Arizona. And he's like, "Oh yeah, like I hate LA. Like I'm never gonna come back to LA." And same thing with his parents. And his parents were born and raised in LA, in the Valley, actually. Which is funny. There's multiple valleys there, but they call it the Valley, San Fernando Valley. Yeah, I loved LA. It was interesting growing up. Like all my mom's family's from there, so like to me, it was a great place because like it was associated with my family, and I don't know. I guess I was just kind of used to the busyness of it. Like everybody's like, "Oh, there's so much traffic, blah blah blah." But to me, I don't really mind it.
Right.
I grew up with it. Like in the summers, being in traffic jams and whatever. Even going to school, like I used to live in South Pasadena. It's like a city there. And I commuted there to USC, and it took me at least like 45 minutes in the morning to get to school. Which, like, I mean, you could get to Las Cruces in less than 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. What I felt like when I like went to school there was like when you're in LA, you feel like you made it, and you feel because you're California for the most part, especially Southern California. You feel like you're among the best of the best because in order to be there, like you do have to have money. Like it's unfortunate, but like there it is so expensive that like if you're able to get there and like have a good job and whatever, like you have made it. It's like the pinnacle of your profession.
You're not a
so I
peasant.
went to school there. I'm sorry?
You're not a peasant.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
Keep going. Sorry, keep going.
Okay, I'm sorry, cut out on the Zoom, but yeah, basically like, in terms of media, at least like covering high school games and covering college, like you were in the epicenter of media and talent in the world, and that just like, was such a cool feeling, especially with Hollywood being right there. Yeah, I didn't think it was. I mean, it is very busy, but I think for me, it's like you gotta find the beauty and the madness, so to speak. And I don't know, I feel like I was really good at finding that, whereas other people kind of got sucked into the whole, oh, you got to be like super pretty and you got to go to the bars every night and whatever. But I don't know. I feel like I was able to have a good time there without, feeding into the whole, rat race of it all.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting, like you said, that in order to be out there and to be living out there, you have to have like something like a good career or something that's getting you paid really well because, yeah, the cost of living out there is expensive. And that's why it's so transient out there because a lot of people go out there and, things don't work out and then they, have to go back home. And it's always like the dream, like you want to go to LA, whether it's to pursue acting or music or whatever it is, like that's normally where you want to be because that's where all the moves are happening. Misa, like, have you been to LA, Misa?
I've never been to LA, dude.
Yeah, I've been to LA like one time, but I've never went to like, I don't know. I went to like I feel like I didn't get like the true LA experience. Like it was just there for like a day and then like out. Like it wasn't really like something where I stayed there and like really like got to experience what like the vibe out there. You know what I mean? But it's something I want to do, obviously.
For sure. You run into any celebrities?
Yeah, occasionally. I'm trying to think of like specific instances. Like, so like my dad's company was lucky enough to be like partnered with the Dodgers, and so we got like, this is a big flex, but I mean it was very thankful. We got like behind the plate seats for Dodgers.
Hell yeah!
So sometimes like we'd see like celebrities there all the time, like the All-State guy or like Larry King would always go. I met the people I actually talked to. I met Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite.
Hey, that's crazy.
That's fucking random.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Super random. I met him. I'm trying to think.
I voted for Pedro, dude.
Huh?
I voted for Pedro. Is that what you told him?
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what I said. It was super nerve-wracking because you don't want to like bother him, but you're like, I want a picture with you. I don't know. Him. I'm trying to think who else. Will Ferrell sat in those seats, Mario Lopez, people like that. Just people you kind of saw, not like you actually went up to them.
Yeah.
But in terms of like random occurrences, I'm trying to think. The one time that's coming to mind right now is I met these two guys from BuzzFeed that were really popular back in the day, just like walking around, and we took pictures with them. That was and then I met another guy from BuzzFeed as well, like 3 guys from BuzzFeed in like 1 week. It's super weird, but yeah, that's the thing is like seeing celebrities there. I feel like everybody has a story, but it's not like everybody. Only if you live in Hollywood do you see that.
Right.
It's not like they're like all around. Like it's just in that one specific area.
Yeah, LA is so big that I mean, it's not like you said, not every corner is filled with fucking celebrities, you know. But there are those like certain areas like Hollywood or like studio cities, some of those more prominent areas where most of the people living over there are like legit celebrities and shit. You know what I mean? So like, how did you end up going to USC? Like, did you get it there on a scholarship? Did you go there just because you were growing up in LA and that's like the school to go to? How was that?
Well, it's interesting because it's like when we were growing up, it was my brother's favorite team was USC, and my cousin had gone there, and we kind of always liked the colors and just like the football team was big, and we didn't really, my mom went to Cal State LA, and my dad went to some college in Canada, so we didn't really have like, like usually kids go to like schools that their parents go to,
right.
That's what. And we didn't really have that, so that's the kind of the team we rooted for. And then more and more as I grew up, I was like, oh yeah, like USC's got a really good journalism school. Like that would be awesome to go there. I could stay home, and I worked my butt off in high school. And I got in. I got some scholarship money, not like a ton, just because like we were more well off, which was fine. But yeah, I don't know. I just like. It was between them and then Syracuse is the other good sports journalism school in the United States. And I got into Syracuse as well. And it was really hard to choose between the two, but like being in LA, being back home, and I also at the time had a girlfriend that was a factor in the decision as well. Oh. But USC was always the dream school. That was someplace I always wanted to go. And when I got in, I was like running around my neighborhood and like screaming my head. I was like, I got messy. It was also just like a really good academic school. Like if I didn't want to do journalism, I wanted to like minor in like psychology and maybe be like a therapist one day. That was the other thing I wanted to do. So.
Yeah, USC in itself is a prestigious university, so regardless if you're going there to like do journalism or you're going there for athletics, because obviously they have really good top tier athletics. It's a very good prestigious university to go to. So you always have like something to fall back on. So what happened with your girlfriend, if you don't mind me asking? Are you guys not together anymore? Was that a bad situation?
Yeah, that's the thing. Me and Mila Kunis, we can only last long distance. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, girl, it's time for you to move.
Yeah, she got tired of his dorm room and shit.
Exactly. Like Ashton Kutcher's got a mansion, like you can't compete.
And he drives a Ferrari, and you're in a fucking Toyota Camry. And It's a hybrid, and that's good, but come on, it's not a Ferrari.
Actually, Toyota Prius, but
Prius. There you go. Yeah. In California, they drive Priuses everywhere.
Straight up. But no, so we were long distance. Like it's funny, like San Diego to LA, it's literally 100 miles, but so it's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on the drive. But, it's like long distance, I guess. To me, it wasn't, because it's like my dad worked up there, still does. Excuse me. So we would like go up there all the time. And that, to me, that drive is like nothing. Whereas, people complain about going from like, the Far East to like the West Side here in El Paso. And that's like 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes, if that. So for me, driving is never like a huge issue. But I digress. So with her, it was just, the long distance was hard in that respect because she would never visit me. And she went abroad to Italy, and that kind of like, like not opened up, but kind of like, I don't know what the word is. I guess exposed us, like in the sense of like, I don't think this is meant to work out long term. So she broke up with me when she was abroad because it just like wasn't working. But yeah, no, it's it's probably better that way. Like, I don't think we were meant to be in the slightest. But, you know, she was a really good friend. We've been dating since I was a senior in high school. So it was hard for sure, especially because we had like a little friend group together. But yeah, no, it's just unfortunate, but that's kind of the way it needed to be.
It is what it is.
Yeah, dude.
It is what it is, as listener.
And I feel like that very first relationship, like it's usually not gonna work out. I would say like that very, very first one. Like there's very few people I know who like met one person when they were like in 6th grade or whatever, and they've been together with them their whole fucking life. Like I don't know a lot of people like that, and that's not the case for you, right, Misa? Like that's not the case for I think any of us here. So like I like Aaron, so our producers over here like, what are you talking about? But
and it's even I think it's even harder when you're like a senior, you know, when you're gonna be done with high school and then, you know, life actually starts as an adult, you know, and then to try and stay with the same person, you know, and they all have their own different plans. It's hard, man. I know a couple of people that met in high school and they're still together till now, but it's rare.
Yeah, it's rare.
Yeah, my brother actually was and currently still is one of those people. And so that was kind of what I was basing it off of was my brother and his girlfriend, Hope. They've been together since he was a senior. And that was like, I can't remember how long ago that was, but they've been together for like 8 years now or something like that. And they, you know, she went to UCLA, the other school. And my brother went to Santa Cruz. And, you know, so that's like a good like 6-hour drive right there. And then they did consecutive study abroad. So he went to Sweden, she went to Italy or something like that. So for like an 8-month period, they saw each other like for like a month in the middle type thing.
Jesus.
That's some like
That's
some
some
real
true
commitment.
love right
Yeah,
there, dude.
No, I know. So if they don't get married, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm like, why?
You did all this for what? For fucking Jackson.
Exactly. No, they probably will. It's just a matter of like time.
That's funny, dude. So let's talk a little bit about like how you got into journalism. Because I saw there's like I Googled you, or not Googled you, I YouTubed you, and I found like a montage of some of like your old, I guess like your clips from when you were at USC, and there was one where you're like at a gym, right? And then you're in front of like a fan group or the student group section. And you're like, the student group is really rowdy today, and then nobody's like doing anything. And it was like this random 12-minute compilation of like different stuff. Like one of them you're calling like a play at a football game. One of them you're like interviewing somebody, and then like I just like fast forward through it, and I just saw that clip, and I just started laughing. So tell us a little bit about that, how you got into that.
Yes, that happened in Montana. That was it's funny. That was actually my first time like live, and you know, not like live. Like I'd done shows on air there before, but that was like the first time I ever went like going live, which means like, you know, cameras on you, boom, just go say something. And you know, I'm out in the field, I have to like memorize it versus like in the studio have a prompter type thing. And I was at the Brawl of the Wild, which is the rivalry basketball game between Montana and Montana State. And up there, it's a huge deal. Like everybody watches and like, or goes to the game. And yeah, it was like, all right, well, like, you know, the whole time this was in Missoula, which is where the University of Montana is. The whole time the student section was just going nuts. Like, because it's a rivalry game. That's the only thing they care about. And they're like, all right, we'll get the crowd shot with Keith. And I probably should have told the kids behind me, like, hey, like, get rowdy, like, let's go. And they come to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, like, you know, this is one of the fiercest rivalries in the nation. Look behind me, and they're doing nothing. And I'm like, a little bit dazed and confused today, but, you know, this is one of the fiercest in the nation.
That shit's hilarious.
That was great times, but it's all good.
Yeah, and why it stood out to me so much was because I've seen like, and obviously you can't make the same comparison, but I've seen when they have like the guy outside, or he's in Cameron indoor in front of the student section, and they're fucking going batshit crazy. Like everybody's jumping, like the gym is shaking, and it was like that's the environment you thought you were in. And then right behind you, some guy's on his phone checking his MySpace or some shit. Like it was hilarious, dude. But I gotta tell you, when you were like doing some of that play-by-play stuff, like, dude, you're really good at it. Like, you're a natural. It seems like it comes really easy to you, which I admire because, like, when you play Madden or you play 2K, or you play FIFA or whatever, like, and they have the sports commentators on there, I turn the commentators off and I commentate the game myself. Like, you'll hear me like, oh yeah, he's cross, and then like, oh, he's looking down the right sideline, throws a Hail Mary. Like, I start calling the game out loud in my head. I've done that since I was a kid. So to see you doing that like in real life and being actually good at it, like, that's cool, and I really do commend you for that. Yeah. So tell us like what's like the biggest like game you've covered? Like, did you get to cover some pretty cool USC games when like they were in their heyday back in the day?
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you for the compliment. I really do appreciate that. In terms of biggest game, well, firstly, like, to answer your question, which I didn't really answer, why did I get into it? I was kind of the same way, but I was, I watched, like, growing up, I never had cable, so I would always watch like anything on like national TV. So like, the NBC hockey game of the week, or like baseball game of the week on Saturdays, that sort of thing. And I would do kind of the same thing. I'd be like, man, I really want to be like, Joe Buck or whatever. Right. So I'd always like, commentate to myself, or, that sort of thing. So that's how I got into it. Did it in high school, made my own like radio thing with our high school football team, and just went to different locations calling games. And it was just so much fun. Did it in college as well. And then I had the opportunity to do it in Montana, which was awesome for sure. Biggest game I ever covered though, man, that's tough. It's interesting because I actually like hardly ever cover USC football, just because like football there is everything, like at the school, and if the team's doing well, then like that's anything everybody talks about. But if they're not doing well, then like nobody cares about any sports, which I didn't really like. I didn't like that it was such like a big ticket thing. And that's all people cared about. Like, I care about SC football for sure, but I know like that's the only thing people would want to call games for with the student radio. Would be like, oh, like, yeah, we got all the games booked up this year for radio, like maybe next year type thing. So I got annoyed at that, and then I instead called basketball, and this is right when SC basketball started making a turn. So for me, the biggest game I covered when it came to basketball was probably, talking about biggest game, was probably the Pac-12 championship in Las Vegas, which was hilarious because, like, I don't know, to me, I loved SC basketball, but nobody else did. And like, they were in the they're in the Pac-12 tournament, and nobody wanted to cover them. I was the only person there covering it. So it was when they played against DeAndre Ayton in Arizona, and they were leading at the half, and then they blew it, which was really sad. But that was probably one of the biggest games I covered was the Pac-12 championship for basketball.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's fucking dope.
Especially because like the Pac-12, that's like a Power 5 conference. You know what I mean? It's not like Conference USA. It's not like the Sun Belt Conference like that NMSU's in, or they might not even be in that goddamn conference anymore. But it's totally different because like the level of collegiate like athletics here compared to like a place like USC is like night and day. Even though it's still Division I, UTEP, like it's not the same. Like, we're the bottom of the barrel. We always have been in football for the most part. With basketball, we've had relatively like minor success. I mean, we did win a national championship, the only one in the state of Texas.
Pun intended. Minor.
Yeah, minor success. There you go. That was a good one. Oh damn! Now I see why you do this sports anchor shit.
They won back when we were in seniors.
1966 was when they won. I was actually Misa turned 5 that day. So that's pretty cool. But like, can you kind of speak on like the difference in like the level of like athletics between the two universities?
Yeah. I mean, disparity is definitely huge. Like, even in comparing Montana as well, like USC, and the same thing with Stanford, same thing with a lot of the Pac-12s. Yeah, there's a lot of money, a lot of the endowment money, and a lot of booster money there, especially for football. So you get the best players, like that's evident for sure. But I think where it's most affected is in the other sports. So like, USC has like a beach volleyball team, and they have a men's volleyball team, and they have a bunch of other random teams like girls lacrosse. They have a girls lacrosse team, which is amazing, by the way. And same thing with the girls soccer team. They've won national championships, that sort of thing. But whereas at UTEP, you're having to cut sports like baseball or like whatever, like men's volleyball because you just don't have the money. And that's why we saw with COVID why COVID really hit UTEP and New Mexico State so hard. They had to like lay off people in their athletic department. Coaches had to take pay cuts, whereas that just doesn't happen at USC. That just doesn't happen at Pac-12 places. And even more so at the University of Montana, where like the football team is the team. And then you got basketball, and that's it. Like they only have 4 varsity sports for the boys, or the men, shall I say. Whereas at USC, there's like 8, including track and field, including whatever it is, like swim and dive and water polo,
fencing and shit. Fencing. Huh? Do you guys have a fencing team there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, darts and
darts.
Yeah. It's just So it's just they just have a lot more money for the non-rev sports, more so than UTEP. And I'd say like UTEP has a lot of talent when it comes to basketball, men's and women's. I think that like, as much as people, do say that the talent isn't necessarily there. Like I think it's maybe a little bit closer than people think. But I think it's really like the non-rev sports, like softball, for instance, at UTEP. Like I don't know if you saw that the other week, and not hating on UTEP softball, but like they gave up the most home runs in softball history in college. They gave up like 14 or 13 home runs in one game.
Picks up, baby. That's what we do.
We break records.
we have records broken against us. We necessarily don't break records, but we're good. If you guys are looking to break a record, we're a good team to try to play.
No, well, but I mean, UTEP's always had like a good track team, right?
Yeah, there's sports like track and field that normally they're pretty good in. Basketball, they're always decent. They're never like the worst basketball team in the conference, but they're not at the level that they used to be back in the 80s and like the early 2000s. They had relative success. But it's crazy because like when you think of UTEP, I think another thing that helps or that doesn't help it is it's such a commuter school. There's not really like a campus lifestyle. So when you have to go recruit people, you don't have that pitch that you can throw at them. Because when you bring them to the campus, they're probably like, "Where the fuck is everyone? Like, where's the frats? And where's the girls at?" Like, and the one thing they need to understand is that everybody here, for the most part, lives at home or they live off campus. So I think that's another aspect that really affects UTEP when it comes to recruiting and retaining like good coaching and retaining good teams, like recruiting kids when they're like true freshmen instead of like getting them like from transferring from like junior colleges when they're like a senior and shit. Like I don't know. It's really different for UTEP in that respect.
Yeah, it's funny. Lou Romano, the CBS 4 sports director, my boss, he will always tell me the story about how like back when Don Haskins was coaching at UTEP, that he would fly his recruits in at night. So that they only saw El Paso at night, and they're like, "Oh, it's all like the lights and stuff."
That's good.
Which is genius.
It kind of reminds me. We had the captain soccer player
Cheeto. We had Cheeto and Toko here. He's the captain of the El Paso Locomotives.
And he said that when he first showed up and it was like nothing but desert, and he was like, "Where am I?" Like. And that makes perfect sense. I mean, I would be thinking like that too, but in the middle of the night, hey, that's smart, dude.
Deceptive.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, it's hard with El Paso because like, not many people know about the city. They don't really know what it is. And I mean, I didn't really hardly know anything about here other than it was border town. And I think for recruiting purposes, like, everybody wants to go where they have a chance to like make the league. And I think that Aaron Jones did help with that a little bit, but like, I mean, the football team's been terrible. I mean, 0-11, 1-11, that sort of thing. Like if you're not competing in bowl games year after year, you're just not going to get the recruits because recruits, I don't know if they even necessarily care about winning per se or like, winning a conference championship. It's all about like, can you get me to the league?
Yep.
And that's definitely hard, especially when you have so many other schools in Texas to compete with. And not to mention and this is no dig on El Paso football because there are some studs here, but also when El Paso football isn't as good as Dallas football, like SMU has a whole like host and breadth of recruiting to like pick out from their own backyard, like guys that are like 10 minutes away. Whereas like, there's some El Paso kids that play UTEP, but they're not 3 stars. They're not 4 stars. And maybe because they're under recruited, but
well, we only have 1 star in our mount, so you.
Maybe that's what that 1 star is for. It represents only 1 star recruits that come out of here.
Exactly. So it's hard when you don't have that same kind of culture, and I don't know. And it's also too like there's also really cool places to go elsewhere, and like schools that used to not be football schools are now football schools. Like UAB, like was going to discontinue their program, and now they're like one of the best in Conference USA. I don't know. It's definitely gotten a lot more competitive when it comes to recruits.
Yep. So
that's the thing. Well, sorry, not to cut you off, but like even like the backup right tackle for Bama is still going to get pro looks just because he went to Alabama.
Yeah.
Whereas like you could start and be all Conference USA at UTEP, and you're just not going to get a pro look. Like, that's just the way it is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the way the whole structure of college football is built. And when you look at a team like Alabama or a team like Clemson, Ohio State, even like Texas, Miami, like any of those kids could go and play and start at almost any other school that they wanted, but they go there because of the prestige, and they know like if I want to go pro, going to Alabama is probably going to help me better than if I go and maybe start and play somewhere like the University of Washington or somewhere like that. You know what I mean? Or UTEP for that matter. But speaking about like El Paso, you said you got here back in April of last year, right?
Yep.
How was that? Obviously, you came probably at the worst time because that was like when COVID was like in full force. How was that, and like how did you get to El Paso?
But first, did you fly in at night before you got here?
So actually, I mean, yes, I did fly in at night, but that was not intentional. So, so I was in Montana, just to give you background how I got this job. So I was in Montana, working for a station up there, like I mentioned, and I was just not happy up there. Like it was so cold. It was far from the family, and the people they're fine, but I felt like the state was very exclusive in the fact that if you're not from there, people kind of they don't like you, and they don't like outsiders for sure.
So,
they don't.
Let me stop you there. That's interesting you say that because obviously you're talking about Montana, but where in Montana? Is this Billings, Montana?
No, this is a city called Missoula.
Okay, so it's interesting that you say that because obviously you're a Caucasian male and you go over there, right? And you would think that they would probably be a little bit more receptive, but even you were saying like they don't like people that are not from there, right?
It doesn't even matter if you're black or white or whatever. Like if you're not a native Montanan, they can like smell it on you.
I was gonna say, they're probably smelling that little bit of Mexican in you, that chile cebolla tomate,
that little spice. Yeah, it's because there's a lot of like Californians that are moving to like Idaho and moving to Montana to like get away from taxes or whatever it is. So they're annoyed. They're pissed. They don't like that. They like it just to themselves. They're the last best place on earth is what it's called. And like, I love Montana as much as the next person, but it's that whole exclusive mindset that just really, really upset me. Because it's like, I think this is a great place. And if a lot of your state is reliant on tourism and yet you're being so exclusive, like you realize you're not going to prosper. I don't know. It's just very annoying.
Dude, I love what you said. I love Montana as much as the next fucking guy. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Montana. And I don't think Aaron does either.
Nope.
I don't mean to sound disingenuous.
No, it was just funny the way you put it.
I don't know. That's just one thing that annoyed me. So the point is like, I wasn't really vibing with the place. And not to mention, I felt that like, given my career, like the job is always to like move up, which sucks because it's like you can't really stay in a place for too long, unless you like it or whatever. But my goal is not to be in Montana forever. And same thing in El Paso. Like, I'm not trying to be in El Paso forever. No offense to you guys, but that's just kind of what you have to do if you want to get good jobs. You got to like keep moving up.
Cut them off. You want us to cut them off? That's our producer.
I'll get the shovel and the limestone.
Hey, he's playing, bro. Where you going? Yo. Oh God bless. Well,
but I was looking to make a change, and quite frankly, I actually was trying to go into play-by-play. Like, I wanted to be a play-by-play broadcaster for like a minor league baseball team, and that's why I love play-by-play as well. Like, that was actually my passion in college, and believe it or not, I actually had a job lined up with the Palm Beach Cardinals. And I was supposed to go there. This is like last December. And I had the offer, and I was like, asked the person for it in writing. And I was literally like a day away from giving my 2 weeks notice to my station. And at the time, I was still under contract for another year. So like, it was very controversial, and they probably could have sued the pants off me for sure. But, I had the job, and then I asked for it in writing because I wanted to be guaranteed that I was going to get these opportunities to do play-by-play. And the woman comes back like the 90th hour or whatever, and was like, oh, yeah, by the way, we had to give it to someone else. The Cardinals organization put in their own guy. And I was so upset. But it turned out to be the blessing in disguise because, a couple weeks later, Lou Romano from CBS 4 calls me on the phone. He's like, hey, like, we're interested. We want you in El Paso. And, then COVID hits, and, if I had taken that job in Florida, I would have burned a ton of bridges, and I would have been unemployed, out of a job. So it just worked out the best it could. They flew me out here, to answer your question about did they bring me in at night. They flew me out here in, it was actually like a year ago, a couple weeks ago, but it was like the 29th of January or something. And my flight out of Missoula was delayed because it was like so icy in the morning. It was like a 4-hour delay. It was ridiculous. I was pissed. But eventually came into El Paso at night. And I was so confused when I first got here. I was like, because like the way the city is structured is very odd. Like, it's like wraps around a mountain.
Yeah.
And I was like, where am I? And I was just so confused. But yeah, it seemed like a cool place. It was the desert, and I didn't realize like how smack dab close you guys are next to Mexico, really. But yeah, different experience for sure. It was very weird to go from like snowing mountain state full of white people to I can't even find a white person.
And the white people that you find are not like the white people up there. It's like those like white people from Mexico City and stuff. Like,
exactly. Yeah, it was definitely like complete opposite culture change. But.
Yeah, dude. I can only imagine. Like, I mean, Cheeto came from fucking Belgium.
Yeah.
Imagine how shocked that guy was. And then you came from Montana, which is just as foreign as Belgium in my books. If you think about it, I mean, like, how many people do you really know? Like, vacation
but have
to,
you
like,
seen
Montana
a difference of like the way people are?
Well,
yeah. I mean, I'd say, well, firstly, it's always funny when people are like, oh, yeah, it's like this burrito place over in Montana. And I always think, I'm like, wait, you're from Montana? But no, it's like Montana Avenue.
Yeah. I'm
it always
from there
gets
too.
screwed up. Exactly. Yeah.
That's
in terms of the people, though, I think part of it is like I haven't met many people because of COVID. Like, that's what's really like hindered me. And I moved here right when the pandemic hit. And I got here like April, whatever it was, like I think it was 14th was my first day here. But the people that I have met, very kind, and I think that like it's very similar to Montana. Well, firstly, the whole city is very family oriented. It's very traditional. Maybe even a little bit too traditional. I know that's controversial
because nobody leaves El Paso.
Exactly. That's the same thing as Montana. Like you're born there, you go to UTEP, and then you have kids, and then you live here forever. And it's just,
or you move in here, you go to UTEP, have kids, and then you live here forever.
Exactly.
You don't have to be born here to stay here forever. That's the thing about El Paso. It's just
Yeah.
grabs you and it's like,
Sucks
yo,
you in, dude.
Chris, you're here forever.
Yeah, because like there'll be military people that get here, they go to Bliss, they fall in love with the Latina woman, have 5 kids, and then their whole life is just set in El Paso.
Exactly.
I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
Yeah, that's crazy too. Like, it's funny that you say it's kind of similar to El Paso and Montana to El Paso. And I was kind of, when you said that, I was like, well, not really. But then when you explained it further, I was like, okay, yes. Yeah. In those senses, it is very similar. That it's a really like a close knitted community, up family, and like you take care of the family, you live with the family. Like that's very prominent here. And I'm sure for you were like, what the fuck is this? All these brown people,
Yeah, dude, like half of the West Side is all Chris's family.
Yeah, that's true, dude.
Your neighbor is probably Chris's cousin or something.
Exactly.
So what was that?
Oh, sorry, not to scare you off, but it's funny. Like if I was actually like from Montana, this would be like super different, but it's not necessarily incredibly different because like coming from San Diego and LA, there's plenty of diversity there. Right. So like growing up, I was always like and especially being around my mom's family too, like all the brown people, and we're just like the only white people there. Yeah. So we're used to it, or I'm used to it at this point, shall I say.
Yeah, and the timing for you is unfortunate because you haven't really been able to experience like the city when it's like fully open and everything's functioning the way.
It would be a big difference if you did, man.
It would be a very big difference, dude, for
difference.
sure. Because like El Paso's changed a lot because of the pandemic. Like a lot of people like don't go out anymore. Like a lot of people just stay at home.
And the ones I do don't give a fuck.
Yeah, the ones I do end up in a fucking shooting. Like Rockin' Cigar Bar on Cincy, there's a shooting every weekend there, guaranteed.
Or a stabbing. It depends. It's like we like to bet on it. It's like, yo, is it going to be a shooting or a stabbing?
It's crazy, dude. So it kind of sucks. Like I feel bad in that way that you haven't got to experience the, like I said, the full effect of El Paso. But it seems like you're enjoying it like enough, for like the circumstances, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. And I think what I noticed, so whenever I talk to anybody that's not from here, they're like, oh, like, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't do anything because, obviously COVID, but I think like what I'm realizing is I would say, oh yeah, there's nothing to do in El Paso. It's so boring here. But I think the things to do is at their events. Like you go to the concerts downtown, you go to like gallery openings or whatever, the Chihuahuas games or locomotive games or whatever type of event. And I feel like since COVID, those events are non-existent. So there's not really a community feel because you can't meet anybody. Yep. So I think that's probably changed a lot of the city for sure. But I don't know, for me, I'm like a big like outdoors person. So I like hiking and things like that. And it's weird to just like be in a desert and also be like, it's similar to Montana because Montana, it's like 3 hours to the city I was in, Missoula. It's like 3 hours to Spokane, like 8 hours to Salt Lake City, and then like another 3 hours to like the nearest other city. So it's very isolated, just like El Paso, which to me is not a great feeling. I don't like feeling like I'm in the middle of nowhere, but
you are.
But it has been.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But they have everything you need here, and that's the difference. Because like in Montana, you had like 5 grocery stores, and even then, like they didn't really have like anything there in terms of like food. Whereas here, the food's great, and you got like Sprouts. Like I love Sprouts because they got like really fresh food and like fruits and things like that. So El Paso has everything you need, but I think it's just a lot different from what
and that's what keeps everybody here.
Exactly.
It's whoever did this had thought about it.
Yeah, dude, for sure. What we can do is, if you're still here once everything's back to normal, we're going to take you to a UTEP tailgate. My family throws notorious UTEP tailgate parties. The team sucks, right? But we don't even go into the fucking game. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The thing is like you don't go to a UTEP game to watch a football game. You go for the tailgate.
Go for the tailgate, man. And so I would be honored to get to share that experience with you
that'd be amazing.
Get to show you that. So we are coming up on the 49th minute here.
What?
Already. So what we're going to do right now, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some trending topics. Some guy got ran over in a road rage incident here. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Tiger Woods was in a car crash. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk to Mr. Keith about like some of his favorite music and movies. And we'll do some life advice that we had posted some questions on Instagram, and we had some respondents, so we want to do that. And then we'll end with the 5 random questions. But let's go ahead and take this break. Episode number Nintendo 64 of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, rate and review. Let's go ahead and take this break, and we will be right back.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Hoodie Chris from Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. I'm here to tell you guys about I Glass. Their link is below. You need to go check them out. I Glass makes handcrafted glass products locally here in the 915. And they range in uses from pipes, decorations, jewelry, pendants, and more. My boy Luis even got himself a goddamn hummingbird, bruh. So make sure you guys go hit up my boy Aaron Lee and tell him that Chris and Misa sent you from the podcast. And go support a local El Paso business today. Let's go.
All right, guys, we are back from break. Episode number Nintendo 64 of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Make sure you guys go follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube page, Apple Podcast, rate and review. The reason that I'm calling this episode Nintendo 64 is because probably circa 1997, 98, young Chris, your boy over here, on Christmas morning was ripping open a fucking N64, and we were playing some Super Mario 64.
Yeah. I was playing some Donkey Kong.
Anytime I see the number 64 or anything related to 64, I automatically slap a Nintendo in front of it. And here we are, episode number Nintendo 64.
Yes, sir. Conversing
with Chris and Misa, the podcast, featuring our boy, Cowboy Keith Demolder. How'd you get that name, by the way, Cowboy Keith? Is it the whole Montana thing, or what was that?
No, yeah, okay. So, well, firstly, for people out there, it's a joke. It's a troll. It's not my actual name. I just put that. Well, firstly,
it's on your birth certificate. I saw
it's on your IG, bro. So that's official.
Yeah, it's official.
I know. You're right. You're right. Yeah, it's on the birth certificate. No, basically, when I told people I was moving to Montana, they thought that, oh yeah, like, you know, Keith's going to be a cowboy up there, blah 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 blah. Because that's all they think that's all the California people think, that anywhere outside of like California is just like cowboys. And like country people and whatever. So in Montana, that's what they thought. And then even more so when I moved to Texas, they're like, oh yeah, he's going to be a cowboy.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to like steer into the skid. So I stole my dad's cowboy hat that he had for a costume back like 30 years ago. And so I'll like wear that in some of the IG pics, just to be a troll, you know, because there's this one guy I know, his name is Bradley Warren, and he actually like rides horses and things like that.
With the name Bradley, you would think, yeah, this guy rides a horse to work every morning.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's such a troll, and he's like, you know, would make fun of me for like wearing the cowboy hat as a joke. So then I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna like do it like to the nth degree. So I'm going to do a post coming up. You guys will be the first to hear spoilers, but it's going to be me surfing with the cowboy hat, and it's going to be like I put the cow in Cowabunga. Maybe I'll be wearing the boots on the board. I don't know. That's both the two.
Oh, dude, you gotta wear the boots, dude, and then it's gotta have like El Paso on there. You got them from El Paso, Tony Llama's
boots. So
exactly.
Where can people that are our listeners or people that are interested in following you on social media? Where can they find you on Instagram? What's your handle?
Yeah, the handle is just my name, Keith Demolder, KITHDEMOLDER. You can follow me on that if you want. If anything, follow me on Twitter if you want like El Paso updates. I have my Twitter, which is at Keith Demolder as well. It's Keith Demolder on everything, because I'm the only Keith Demolder in existence, and that's a fact.
Wow.
In existence, really? Like there's nowhere else in the world like Keith Demolder? That's pretty crazy. I mean, that's a unique name. I'll give you that.
I mean, aren't we all?
Demolder. I'm sorry?
Well, no, I'm sorry. I wanted to see how is it that you're the only one?
Like, yeah, did you do some sort of like ancestry test on this, or like how do you like know this?
Well, I mean, it's just a quick, Google search plus like LinkedIn plus everything else. Like, there's no other like Keith Demolders, at least right now in existence. My family, my dad's side comes from Belgium, actually, like our producer, right? Or yeah.
No. Our friend Cheeto, that the locomotives captain, he's from Belgium. He's the one that came over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Our producer hasn't even been out of the country. I don't think he's even allowed out of the country.
I don't even. Is he awake right now? I don't know.
Jeez. Well, yeah. So the Demolder name is from there. That's where all my like family is from. There's actually a store in Belgium or a company or something called Demolder, and they sell like prosthetic legs and things like that. I think.
That's so random. Hell yeah. And it's like Demolder prosthetics, like anything you need, we got you.
Have you ever done that whole like ancestry test or the DNA test or the 23 whatever and me? Whatever it's called?
Yeah, no, I've never done it personally, although one of my mom's relatives did, and for a second they thought that like we were part Ashkenazi. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that right. Ashkenazi Jew, and apparently there's like a sect of like Jewish people that had immigrated from Spain to Mexico or something like that. I don't know exactly what the origins are, but the point is like we're not, like that was just like they had been getting more data and we're like from Spain basically, like way back in the day.
True. That's crazy. Hell yeah. I don't know where the hell
I'm like 23% Spaniard.
You're Spaniard too?
Yeah.
My grandpa was part Spaniard. So I know I have a little bit of that in me, but I also have like some Apache or something.
I have Native American from like the South, like
yeah,
Mexico,
who knows?
Native Americans.
So let's talk some trending topics here, guys. Two of them will tell you what they are. The other two, Mr. Keith and Misa, will be determining what those trending topics are. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Hold on, let me see. Keith fell off the face of the planet here.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just pulling up the doc.
Okay, cool.
It's all right.
No, you're good. Are you good to go? Let us know when you're good to go.
If you need to answer a call, just let us know. We edit all this stuff, so
No, you're good. Well, okay. It says Keith pick a number 2 to 18. I'm sorry. Is there a number, like a list of trending topics?
No. So the idea is that it's random. So you guys will pick the number, and you'll get this random trending topic.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So the first trending topic, guys, that we want to cover, it's an El Paso local topic. And I don't know if you guys heard about this. There was a road rage incident a few days ago. I think it was almost a week ago. It was somewhere on the east side. And somebody was actually ran over during the road rage incident. And the guy was hospitalized. And
39 years old in front of his wife and kids.
Yeah, so he was hospitalized, and it just came out, I believe, yesterday that he actually passed away.
Terrible.
So that's pretty crazy. But I believe the guy that ran him over, they're still looking for him. They don't know what happened to him. So that's crazy. What are your thoughts on that, Misa?
I think that's horrible, man. I don't know. I've had road rage, but not to an extreme to like I want to run over or like hit this guy next, or or follow him. And that's what happened from what I read, and I forgot where I read it. And I'm not sure if I'm 100%, but I think they started on the freeway, and they ended up following each other. They exited together, stopped at a gas station or something, and guy came out of the car, tried to confront him, got run over. This guy ran him over and then backed up, and I guess ran him over again or something like that, and then just took off.
Shit was crazy, dude.
And that's horrible, dude. I don't know. I still don't know. You must have like some deep issues if you're gonna get to a point where like you wanna like do some violent shit while you're driving or something. That's crazy.
Mr. Keith, how bad is your road rage?
It's well, okay. It's not bad. Like to answer your question.
I mean, he's Chicago, LA.
Yeah,
that's
just
true.
LA. He's not used to that. It's a lot less, like, I would say a lot chiller here, besides dealing with those cities.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the driving is maybe a little bit worse than I expected.
No, the driving here is piss poor, terrible, grade A, great.
But every
time
you see a shitty driver, if you look at the license plates, it's those Chihuahua license plates or New Mexico.
Yeah.
Even he knows. He's like, I got on. It's like, I've been here a year.
I follow the Fit Fam. Don't worry.
He's carrying on trends. I'll
Shout out to Fit Fam. I know they're watching.
So what do you think about the whole incident with this guy getting ran over?
Well, here's the thing. Like I mentioned, like the driving here is not that great. What I've noticed is like it's just terrible. Like there's people that will go too slow in the fast lane. Like this one person was going like I have to take Mesa to get to my work, so I'm always on that street, and it's speed limit's 45. Sorry, it's 40, and then it's 45 in some places. And this guy was going 35 in like the fast lane, and it's not that like I necessarily am gonna like flip you off, or I'm gonna like, the most I'll do is honk at you. But the thing is, people here don't honk at people, which I think is annoying. Is I'm like, then people just get away with, sitting at the light for 5 seconds, and then I missed the light because you were sitting at it, or things like that. Like that really annoys me, for sure. And like the most I did, like for instance, this another person from Chihuahua was driving on Mesa, and they were going just super slow. Number one, they were going slow. And then they were braking for no reason and like swerving a little bit. And I'm like, you're just being unsafe. And so I like honked at him, and he or she, whoever it was, still wasn't going to speed up. And then I like flashed my lights at them before making a left because I was just that annoyed.
That was like him flipping them off. Like before.
Exactly. Like that's the thing is I'm never going to go out of my way, like necessarily like to cut you off. I'm not that type of person. I just think it's like, if you're being dangerous, then I'm going to be upset, because it's not that like you're being an idiot to yourself. It's you're being an idiot and you're going to affect other people's lives here. So like that's kind of where I draw the line. And like on the west side on the freeway, it's not terrible, but it really gets bad like post downtown, because there's like all the trucks, and it's only 3 lanes. And I feel like there's just like way too much traffic for only 3 lanes. And you got like the trucks that are just going to take up 1 lane. And then you have the fast lane, but it's only 60 miles an hour, which is way too slow. And you get all these like backups and people getting pissed off at each other. That's why there's so many wrecks, is because it's not fast enough. Like you need to push it to at least 70.
Nice. Hey, I'll get with the Texas DPS and TxDOT, and we'll put in a petition to raise the speed limit.
We'll get this fixed,
because I'm in agreement with you. What do you think, Dolph? What do you think about this road rage incident?
Well, I think you're full of shit. You don't drive more than 2 miles per hour over the fucking speed limit.
Yeah,
so.
I don't speed, bro. I'm the most cautious
If anything, you're the dude in the fast lane doing 5 miles below the speed limit.
Chris did tell me somebody flashed their lights at him the other day.
Nah, so okay, look, I'm very cautious when I drive. Okay, and I have my reasons, which I'm not gonna fucking get into, but you guys should know why. Anyways, so here's the problem here, right? Here's the other problem with people in fucking El Paso that get behind the fucking wheel, right? You guys behind the fucking wheel don't know how to act. They don't, bro. You'll see somebody like, you know how they have like the lines, like the solid lines that says, hey, do not pass this line. Do not fucking do a lane change. You guys are obviously blind. You guys just blow by that. You guys don't give a fuck about stop signs. If it's a yellow, you guys are taking it for sure. You guys don't give a fuck about anything. You guys will clog an intersection because you don't care. Like, you guys, El Paso, you are the worst fucking drivers I have ever fucking seen. Yeah. The other day when it snowed, you know how many police fucking calls they got for traffic-related accidents? Over 100 in a day.
God bless.
God fucking bless El Paso. Then you see assholes doing 90 on the fucking freeway. Right? It's going in and out. Like, what are you doing? Passing on the right. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to cause a wreck, and then we're all fucked. How about that? You fucking Mustang owner on Fit Fam looking like a fucking dumbass. Like, get the fuck out of here. Go back to the east side. I'm done with this shit.
God bless.
God damn.
Dude. Jesus Christ. I haven't heard Hoodie Chris in a while. Oh, God.
If you guys can't tell, I have extreme road rage, but I'm not going to run you over. Trust me. I'm just going to turn around and dip out and go home.
And then just talk shit on the podcast.
And I don't want to go to fucking jail, you bastard. Learn how to drive.
Horrible, dude. It's just horrible. I mean, to get to a point where like somebody dies because of road rage.
Yeah, El Paso, your driving is so bad. Somebody died because of how mad they were in traffic. I hope you guys feel better. It's on your hands, El Paso. Good shit. Anyways,
dude.
trending topic number 2. God bless.
Speaking of bad driving.
Speaking of bad driving and car accidents, did you hear what happened to fucking Tiger Woods? Did you
God
see
damn
this?
it, Tiger Woods.
Did you guys see this? Did everyone see this?
Dude, who didn't see it?
I think everybody fucking saw this. Keith, what are your thoughts on what happened to Tiger Woods today? He got in an accident in California. Apparently, they had to use the jaws of life to get him out of the vehicle, which should tell you how severe the accident was. He then went into surgery because of his injuries. And so obviously prayers and condolences go out to Mr. Tiger Woods. Everybody I know knows Tiger, and everybody has a positive view on him. Despite everything that he's been through, he's a lovable guy, fucking made golf better and more entertaining than it's ever been. So what are your thoughts, Mr. Keith, on this event that happened today?
Yeah, like you said, obviously, terrible tragedy, you could say. Thankfully he's okay. He's not going to die or anything like that. Next to Kobe, like Tiger's pretty up there in terms of like celebrities, to have like such an impact on the world of sports. But I hope he's okay, because that's the thing about car accidents is like, as much as I don't know if you saw that plane that like the engine was on fire as it was going in the air. I don't know if you saw that, but like as much as that happens, like air travel is the safest travel by far. Yeah. You need to have years of training and like intense whatever. Whereas like any dumb person can drive a car, and that's the real shame of it is because like car accidents happen all the time, and it sucks because it's like you could be driving super safe, and you have one idiot who's like texting or trying to take a Snapchat story while driving, and then bam, you just like end somebody's life, or they, heaven forbid, are drinking and driving. So, it just sucks. It just sucks to see because it's like, good people don't deserve to get in wrecks like that.
Right. Some thoughts on the Tiger Woods situation?
It's crazy, dude. They should, like you said, like flying now, it's a lot safer. They should start making flying cars. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, they should. But but what now? You're gonna have people crashing in midair. And then all the fucking parts are going to fall onto the earth.
Obviously, you have to take years of class. But no, man, back to Tiger Woods. That's crazy. I mean, I saw it, and the first thing I read was like Tiger Woods in a rollover, and I was like, yo, another Kobe Bryant day. Like no fucking shit. And then, I kept reading, but it's crazy how much attention. The first thing I thought of, like, yeah, like hopefully he's okay, which, he is. He will be fine, but it's just like the whole news on it. That's all I could see was like just helicopters just on the car for hours, just on there, knowing that, hey, there's going to be thousands of people looking.
Yeah.
For what, And I saw so many people commenting how pissed off they were, like, yo, give us some real news. There's car accidents every single day, and you're spending all this time on it, but that's what I was thinking all fucking day today.
Yeah. He broke, what I heard, he broke both his legs or whatever. My thing is like, dude, if you thought his whole back injury was bad, like, Tiger's never going to come back from this. Like, 2 broken legs, I don't know. Are you ever going to be the same?
His golf game is not going to be the same. I don't see him playing at the same level to where he's winning another Masters or another major for that matter. Obviously, like, I hope he proves us wrong. That would be, like, a remarkable story, but it's very sad to hear what happened today. But yeah, like you said, hopefully, and he's going to be okay. And, it's not a Kobe Bryant situation. Do you have any thoughts on that, Dolph?
Well, I wouldn't doubt, there was probably a woman that went through his phone, and that was probably the reason why he veered off the fucking road. That those skeletons will come out of the closet.
Yeah, we'll leave that
bless. Hey.
Making all these acquisitions.
But I'll drink to that shit.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, drink to that.
Go back to sleep, bro.
Okay. All right, guys. So let's do 2 more trending topics. We won't spend as much time on them. They're going to be random. What we're going to do here is we're going to have Misa and Keith pick a random number between 2 and 18. Whichever number they pick, I will look at that number position on the Google Trends that's right here on my phone, and we will shortly discuss the topic for you guys. So who wants to go first, Misa or you, Keith? Who wants to do this?
Let's go with Keith, man. I want to see what Keith has.
All right. I'm going with the lucky number 5.
Okay, so lucky number 5 is our boy Meek Mill. So Meek Mill is a rapper. A lot of people, he's a famous rapper. I don't know if you guys know him. He's got a very, let's say, spotted past where he's been in jail a few times. And so there was actually something that got him in the news because of a Kobe Bryant lyric that he has in a song. And Kobe's daughter, Vanessa Bryant, called him out for it and saying that his lyric was insensitive and that she wants essentially for him to remove the lyric from the song. She doesn't think it's right that he's using Kobe Bryant's name in a lyric so, I guess, closely related in time-wise to his death. So have you guys heard about this at all?
No, I haven't, dude. What was the lyric?
I saw it on Twitter. Also, I think Vanessa is his wife.
It's his wife. Yeah, sorry. That's my bad. Yeah, my bad on that.
What is the lyric? I didn't, because I saw something like somebody comment on Twitter like, oh yeah, like who's Vanessa to say that this was bad or something like that. But yeah, what was the lyric?
The song is an unreleased collaboration between Meek Mill and Lil Baby. So the song is not out yet, but you know how like you'll see these guys and they're chilling in the studio and then they're posting snippets of songs. So that's how this came out. This came out on a snippet somewhere. And essentially the lyric goes as this. Yeah, and if I ever lack, I'm going out with my chopper. It'd be another Kobe. So, you know, obviously you can see why Miss Vanessa, who's Kobe's wife, not his daughter, would feel like this is insensitive. So I was surprised when I saw that, but do you guys feel the same way as her? Like, what do you guys think about this?
To be honest, like I feel the same way only because I'm a Kobe fan, you know, but there's plenty of songs out there where you hear disses like this that's like inappropriate. But for me, like, yeah, it's bad just because, you know, I'm a Kobe fan. And, you know, morally, of course it's bad. You know, I wouldn't do it regardless, you know, but people do stuff for money, you know?
So before we get your thoughts, Mr. Keith, let me read you, I guess. This is the tweet that Vanessa Bryant sent at Meek Mill. And it says, Dear Meek Mill, I find this line to be extremely insensitive and disrespectful. Period. I am not familiar with any of your music, but believe you can do better than this. If you are a fan, that's fine. There's a better way to show your admiration for my husband. This lacks respect and tact. That's what she tweeted at him. So
Damn.
Guns blazing.
She came for the throat, bro. That was well worded.
Yeah. And then that little slight where she's like, I don't even know any of your music. Like, she's throwing jabs at the homie, man.
But she's saying all this with a calm voice. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, right, Keith? I would say that's hard to believe, right?
Which, I mean, you know, I don't know. Like I don't blame her. I mean, how old is Vanessa Bryant? Like, you know, I think she's like 40 something. But
right.
like, my parents don't know a lot of like rap songs or anything like that.
Yep.
But
I can't tell you a song.
Misa doesn't even know who Mill Meek or Meek Mill.
No, I know who
Millie
he
Meek
is. I know who he is, but it's just like if you were to tell me like give me his top song, I wouldn't tell you. But if I hear it, I'll be like, oh shit, I've heard that song before, you know. But
yeah.
But I can't tell you like anything from that dude.
Yeah, I don't think she was trying to like throw jabs or anything. But and I think she did mean it with the best of intentions because she did say like, I know you can do better, which is true. Like, I mean that. Yeah, that's weird. Like, you know, especially because Kobe was not like, you know, during his playing days, he was a little bit vilified, but like, I don't think he was like that. Like,
well, he's saying that he's going to go out with his chopper, which is like in the rap terms, like a chopper means like an actual gun. So it's also like kind of disrespectful in that way where you're associating Kobe with that, I guess, kind of activity, right? Yeah.
Or that Kobe wanted to go out that way, or that his death was honorable and not like a huge tragedy.
Like a tragedy, right? Yeah, exactly. That's a brilliant way that you said it. Okay, so let's go to the next trending topic. Misa, I need a number between 2 and 18 that is not number 5. Go ahead and pick a number.
Yeah, I'm going to go with number 5. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with number 11.
Number 11. Okay, wow. I have no idea what this is. This is workhorse stock plunges. Do you guys know what workhorse stock is? This is some fucking...
Well, it sounds like
I don't know. This is some fucking shit related to the fucking stock
All right,
market.
let's go to number 7.
This is probably not for us.
Let's go to number 7.
I don't even know how much money is in my bank account. I don't even have money in my bank account.
Do you even have a bank account?
Okay, so number 7. Okay, I know something about this. So number 7 is a article related to a soccer team, Bayern Munich. They played Lazio today in the Champions League round of 16. Shout out to Chris Molina, by the way. He's a big Bayern Munich fan. So this is just pretty much going over the game. Bayern Munich went hard. They won 4-1. But I guess one of the standouts was they had a 17-year-old kid score in the game. So that's cool. So shout out to soccer Champions League. Do you guys like soccer? Misa, are you a big soccer fan?
I like playing soccer. I used to follow soccer back when I was younger, but I can't talk shit.
Yeah, you don't even know who Lazio is, right?
No.
Okay.
I know you play soccer, right?
Mr. Keith, do you know anything about Champions League soccer, Bayern Munich? Anything about European football?
None.
None.
I know
Okay.
Wayne Rooney, and that's about it.
Yeah, he's Wayne Rooney and David Beckham.
All right, Chris.
That's it, bro.
All right, so that's it for the trending topics. I guess these are trending because
What
they're
was
trending.
number 3? I want to know what was number 3 real quick.
The number 3 one. Let me go back. Let me pull up the list. Number 3 was another stock market one.
Oh, great.
Late gains reverse most of an early slide on. I don't know anything about the stock market, so we're not gonna get into fucking that shit. But anyway, so let's transition towards the back end of the podcast here. Mr. Keith, me and you talked about how much of a music fan you are. Who's your favorite band, and like who would you say is probably like your favorite song? Well, your favorite band, and then your favorite song of all time.
Okay. So how about this? Because I feel like that's like so hard to like say, but I'll give you a Mount Rushmore.
Okay, that's okay.
My
And
favorite.
for the people who don't know what Mount Rushmore is, can you tell us how many people are on Mount Rushmore?
There's 4. There's we got George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln.
Honest
That's
Abe,
right.
yes.
There you go. Anyways, so my top 4, I'd say we got Foster the People.
Oh, damn. That's rare. That's rare to hear.
We
Foster the
got
People.
there's this Australian band, and this will go into my favorite song, but Australian band called Last Dinosaurs. That's number 2. Number 3, I'd say it's tough. I'd say number 3 probably be Young the Giant for sure. And then after that, if I had to like, listen to and then number 4 would probably be Childish Gambino for
There
sure.
you go. That's a solid little Mount Rushmore there.
Yeah,
You encompass a lot of styles, a lot of sounds, so I like that.
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
That's good. What about do you have like a favorite song, or do you would have to have a Mount Rushmore of songs as well?
Well, I mean, yeah, I will. I'd say my favorite song, at least right now, it used to be this song called "The Logical Song" by this band called Supertramp, which it's like a super old band from like the 70s. But my favorite song right now is by Last Dinosaurs. It's called Beaumont, BEAUX -MONT, Beaumont, and I listened to it. It has a lot of sentimental meaning for me, for sure. I found it when I was about to be a senior in college, and it's this like it's on their South American tour album or something like that, and so it's like super unknown, and it's like very beachy, and at the time the lyrics are just like super relevant to my life, and I just love the sound of it, and I literally listened to it, I think for, I want to say maybe like 7, like actually like in the span of like a couple months, I listened to it for 7 days.
Jesus Christ.
So I would,
Damn.
so
Yeah,
I would listen to it on a repeat.
On repeat.
Like literally I'd drive to school or work, 45-minute drive, and I listen to the song the entire time.
Hey, that's what's up. That's how you know you really like a song, when you're just like, run it back, turbo, every time. You know what I mean? like it's instant. So, okay, Misa, do you have a top 4 Mount Rushmore bands, musicians?
Oh, that's hard for me, man. Like, for sure, the Black Keys are my number 1.
CCR.
CCR is up there as well. Robert Johnson, for sure. He's only got 29 songs, but
All right, one more. You're almost there.
one more.
That wasn't hard at all.
They're relatively new. It's Rita Van Fleet or something.
Rita
like that.
Van. Yeah, I know who those guys are.
Oh, Greta Van
Greta
Van
yeah.
Fleet. Yeah.
They're the ones that people compare to Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin and
Yeah.
or Rush.
Dolph, do you have a top 4 real fast music artist?
Well, I don't know how.
Young
fast I
Dolph,
can spit
number
it
1,
off.
go.
No, well, yeah, you know, it got to originate where a lot of it started. Probably be like Dr. Dre, then
Okay.
followed by Currency. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, unfortunately, well, yeah, Young Dolph.
Okay. Young Dolph and one more.
Was that
Hurry up.
3? I wouldn't even know another one.
Wiz
Can't even
Khalifa.
name it. Shit, probably, maybe even, who knows?
Okay, there you go. Little Wayne,
Oldies,
maybe?
Little Rock,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going Blink-182. I'm going Little Wayne. I'm going Jack Johnson. And I'm going George Strait. How about that?
Hey, I like
There
it.
you go. That's solid, right?
My number
about your
4,
song? What's
Elvis
your
Presley, homie.
Elvis Presley, number 4. Okay.
Hey, nice. What song do you have on repeat right now?
That what?
What song do you have on repeat right now?
On repeat right now, Case Closed.
Case
Hey,
closed.
there you go.
Yeah. Chris?
I have Still Going Down by Morgan Wallen. It's a country song.
Oh.
That's my shit right now. So, okay, that's our music segment. Let's talk some movies real fast with Mr. Keith. Let's do another Mount Rushmore of movies here. And then I'm going to tell you, out of everybody's Mount Rushmores, how many of these movies I've watched, because I do not watch movies, so this should be interesting. So go ahead, Keith, start us off.
Oh.
Okay, the Mount Rushmore. Firstly, 500 Days of Summer. is
Okay,
the
I've seen
number
that one. I got that one.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 2. These are all classics. I'm sure you've seen them. Back to the Future is number 2.
Okay, that's a nay.
Huh?
That's a nay on my part. Never seen that one.
There's
No.
more than one movie. You know that, Chris?
No, I know, but I've never seen any of them.
God bless.
What? Okay. Number 3 would be probably Star Wars.
Hey.
Any of the Star Wars, but Rogue One especially. I feel like that one's like one of the best. And then the 4th one, I wrote all these down because I'm like, but it's so hard to choose like the 4th best. I'd say I always think of the Mount Rushmore as if like I'm on like a desert island or something like that, and I can only watch 4 movies.
Right.
So I always go for the variety. So I'm gonna go with The Notebook for number 4.
Oh, wow. Surprise.
Hey, that's a good movie, dude. That's a good movie.
So, okay, so I got 3 out of 4 of yours. I've seen 3 out of 4. Misa, you're 4?
One of my favorites all times that I could still watch to this day is The Sandlot.
Okay, got that.
The Sandlot. Interstellar.
Okay,
4 Brothers.
okay,
And We Were Soldiers.
okay. We were shoulders or
Soldiers.
soldiers? Were we
That
shoulders
one?
or
Okay.
soldiers?
Soldiers.
Shoulders.
But actually, it's between that one and Saving Private Ryan.
We were shoulders. What's that about?
Shoulders.
Shoulders.
Head and shoulders.
That was the prequel to Head and Shoulders.
Knees and toes.
Oh my god. Okay, we were soldiers. I've seen that one. I've seen, what's the other one you said?
The Sandlot. Have
The
you seen The
Sandlot.
Sandlot?
Yeah. So I've seen 2 out of 4. Dolph, top 4.
Interstellar.
Okay, well, there's 2 definitely that anybody's got to watch. One's Pulp Fiction, the other one's Scarface for sure. And then the other 2 that got to be on there are, the hell is it called? Fucking, where they're in Nazi Germany. It's another Tarantino film.
Oh, I know.
Glorious Bastards.
Glorious, yes.
Yeah, Glorious Bastards for sure. And then, Friday Night Lights, got to get on there. Tearjerker. You want to make a grown man cry? Put that on.
Which one?
Friday Night Lights.
Oh, God.
All you ever want to do is play football.
Okay. I think I've seen 2 of the 4 of yours, so that's not bad. My top 4 would be Saving Private Ryan. We're going to go Black Hawk Down. Going to go The Water Boy.
Hey.
And let's go with... Shit, that's a tough one. I don't know. Something that will make you laugh. Super bad. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Another backdoor sneaker, Reservoir Dogs, bro.
There you go. All right, so let's get ready to transition here. Misa, do you have to use the restroom?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and go use the
All
restroom really fast. Me and Keith will handle this.
Give me a sec here.
Go ahead.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
No, you're good, dude. This guy went to the bathroom anyway. So.
We got a big game tomorrow. It's Letta taking on Chapin in high school basketball.
Yeah, Chapin's got some good players, dude.
Hey, KJ Lewis, the guy is going to go D1 for sure. I mean, he's probably going to play at like Duke or something.
You think so?
Oh, maybe not Duke, but he's got some offers from
some big
pretty
schools.
good teams. I think like I can't remember who.
Well, did you see that? Like, I think Duke had 2 players that they're like sitting out the rest of the season. They're like, "Fuck this, we're just gonna train for the pros."
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't agree with that. It's like, well, firstly, I don't like that. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm a big fan of the whole, especially when I went to college, of the whole like winning a title with your team
with your
rather
squad.
than going to the draft. Huh?
Like winning a fucking title with like your teammates with your squad, you know?
Oh, your squad. Yeah, exactly. Like, because when I went to SC, we had such a great team. Like, we had, current guys that are in the league right now. We had Jordan McLaughlin, Chemezi Metu, DeAnthony Melton, Benny Boatwright, Elijah Stewart, just like a ton of just studs. And if like Chemezi hadn't gone to the draft, if he had stayed that 1 year, same thing with DeAnthony Melton. Like, we would have been unbelievable. And like, yeah, I was just that's something that I not that I regret or whatever. It's not my fault, but like that's something I wish they would have done is like stay in school. And I don't know, like, because when you think about like the Fab Five, right, back with Michigan, like that was so sick. The fact that they went to title after title, they didn't win it, but like they went to a Final Four and stuff like that, like back to back. I don't know. They're legends for that, even if they didn't. I mean, Jalen Rose obviously was nice, and Chris Webber was nice as well. And but the other guys like Ray Jackson and Juwan Howard was okay too, and Jimmy King was the other guy. Like they didn't necessarily do anything great in the NBA, but they'll always be remembered for that. So that to me is just like something that I think is cool.
Yeah,
that's being able to leave a legacy.
Yeah, that shit doesn't happen anymore because they just prioritize like go to the league as soon as you can. Go to the league. Nothing matters. NCAA championship doesn't matter. You're not even making money here. Go to the league.
Which I can't blame them necessarily. Like I get it though, because imagine if it was like the same way with journalism. Like okay, like I could either win like a student Emmy with my team for the next couple of years, or if like ESPN offered me like a job, like am I going to turn down ESPN? Obviously not. Like that's a dream job right there. That's who knows if like I'll get injured next year or whatever, and like it doesn't happen. That's always the risk you take. So I don't blame them, but at the same time, it's like this kind of sucks.
Right. All right, let's get back into it. You ready? Good. Okay. All right, guys. So let's get ready to barrel through the back part of the podcast here. What we're gonna do now is I did this little test, right? Me and Misa are always looking for like new segments. We're like, what are we gonna do different on each pod episode? We can't do the same shit every time. So we tried to do like a life advice segment, but I wanted to open it up to like the people that listen to the show and not just find random life advice questions on the internet. But when I threw it to the audience, I didn't really get any good life advice questions. I got a bunch of just random stupid questions. So we're going to go through those. And there's only 4 of them. But it's going to give me a chance to shout out the listeners who submitted these. And they're real random. They're not even like nobody's asking for advice about anything, which is kind of smart because I don't think you want to take advice from me and this guy.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good idea to try. So the first I guess question about advice that we got was from our boy Wesley Gerhart. He's got a Twitch channel, Watch Out Loud. Go check him out. We're gonna actually do a live stream with him where we're gonna eat Tatankas from Steak Pitos. That's gonna be coming up this weekend, so we're looking forward to that. But he writes, so he says, so my daughter recently started calling fish flish. Should I punish her for this? Does she need a smacking? And this is in reference to a joke that happened on our podcast episode with Wesley, where we were talking about fish in the sea, and I called fish flish. I said all
It's
the flish.
like me saying shoulder instead of shoulder.
So he's just he's cracking a joke, but that was a good one, Wesley. Thank you for that.
Shout out to him.
But does he need to reprimand his child for calling fish flish, Mr. Keith?
Well, it depends on how old the kid is. Either way, I mean, you should never use violence to like, whatever. But I don't reprimand, like if it's like, if you're joking around, like just like that's gonna like piss off your dad, like I don't care. I think that's funny. But if it's like they're really young and they actually think that's the legit name of the noun, then I'd be like, no, like it's fish, not flish.
Yeah. For me, it depends. Like, did this child hear it from the podcast because of Chris? Because if she did, then yeah, she should be taught like, yo, don't listen to this guy. What are you doing listening to Conversing with Chris and Lisa, the podcast?
All right. So the second, I guess, question would be, this is from our boy Sebastian Christian, Don Sebastian 91 on Instagram. Shout out to you and shout out to him. He just had a kid, by the way. He asked, if you hear the word broccoli, does the Western Playland commercial pop in your head?
Dude, yes. I hate broccoli.
So Mr. Keith might not have context for this, but Western Playland is a theme park here in El Paso. It's the only theme park we have, and it's actually not in El Paso. It's in Solon Park now. It used to be in El Paso. And there used to be a stupid commercial with this kid eating broccoli and saying, I hate broccoli, but the thing was, if they ate the broccoli, they can go to Western Playland.
It's like, what would you do? It's like, what would you do to go to Western Playland? And then
they're like, I'd eat my broccoli.
Yuck. And then like, I'll mow the lawn.
Yeah.
But the whole broccoli would always stick in my head.
Yeah, so that's a good question. And I told him that both broccoli and Western Playland are like super overrated. They both suck ass.
No, dude, I love broccoli.
No, it's all about non-steamed broccoli.
Okay.
Steamed broccoli is garbage. It's so gross.
How else do you eat broccoli? You bake it?
Like the cold, like not, I call it cold, but like the non-steamed one, like in the like the veggie trays that people bring to parties from time to time, like with the
The fresh broccoli. That's what he wants.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so the third question we got in this life advice, and this comes from my boy Luis Muniz. Shout out to you. And this question is directly for Keith. He wants to know, why do pizza places sell round pizzas in square boxes and then cut them in triangles for us to eat? Why do they do that?
They just love shapes. They're former geometry professors, and they love shapes. They love trying to test us.
That's a great answer, dude.
No, I'm kidding. But well, I think honestly, it's easier to fold a square box than it is a round box.
Right.
Like, or even like, think about how much added waste there would be if you had to like cut a circle. Like, you would have those awkward non-circular pieces in the cardboard, right? So I guess maybe it's helping the environment. Yeah. I don't know, something like that.
Hey, dude.
He's thinking ahead here.
Yeah, dude. Hey, can you write it?
Can you write that down?
I actually was.
Yeah, you put it down right in the show
man.
notes. Okay, thank you. We just want to make sure. Okay, cool. All right, last one, number 4, and this is from our boy Steve Varela. He was actually on the podcast. Shout out to Steve. He wants to know, why does the early bird get the worm, but the second mouse get the cheese? That doesn't make sense at all. But that's hey, Steve. If you know Steve, this is par for the course with the guy. Doesn't really make sense sometimes.
He's trying to mindfuck you or something.
Does Steve have pet mice or something like that?
He has a pet dog that he adopted from a shelter in Austin, because the only reason he adopted the dog was because the dog was from El Paso.
Oh.
That's a random fact.
Wow.
Yeah. One day he sends me a picture of a dog with the dog treat on the dog's head. And he's like, yeah, I had to adopt her because she was in Austin, but she's from El Paso. And so am I. And so he adopted the dog solely for that reason. So shout out to you, Steve.
Question to you guys. What on a scale from 1 to 10 is like the El Paso pride? I feel like it's massive. Like, because I feel like it's kind of the same thing with Montana. Like, for instance, there's like Ryan Leaf is from this city called Great Falls. And then Brock Osweiler is from this other city called Kalispell. And that's like all people talk about. So I feel like anybody, maybe it's the same, like anybody from El Paso that like actually does something in life, like that's all you guys talk about. Aaron Jones. But you know what I mean? Like,
No,
I mean, is that not true though? Like anything, like anybody from here, it's like, oh, dude, like he's our guy.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, I think it's part of the thing where you want to like, you take pride in being from here because it's like, you're just like drilled to like be like, it's El Paso, it's home. Like, this is like a great place to live. Like, nothing's ever going to go wrong. There's never hurricanes here. Like, it's a good place to live. Like, it's not that bad.
Or
and then
earthquakes.
I mean, and then when you see people like, I would say definitely the most successful person out of El Paso recently, Aaron Jones is up there, but it's got to be Khalid, man. I mean, the thing with Khalid and the interesting thing about him is he's transient. He's born and raised in El Paso, but he spent like the most crucial years of his life in El Paso, and he was like, I'm going to claim this city as my home because he moved around a lot. So
shouting out El Paso 915. And
yeah, like putting El Paso in like major pop songs that are played like all over the world, like that never happened. That's never happened to El Paso before. So obviously, like that, the level of pride is there. I mean, honestly,
you have a lot of people that move out and like live the rest of their lives like outside of El Paso, but they're still like El Paso, like strong. Like they say like, yeah, if it wasn't for me being here, I'll be in El Paso right now. And now I think I'd be the same too.
And another thing too. So like, I have an older brother. He's a lawyer. He graduated from the Texas Tech University of Law School. And one thing that he didn't like was that a lot of people that were from El Paso that went to Tech, they wouldn't claim El Paso. They wouldn't claim UTEP. They wouldn't claim anything like, because it was almost like being from El Paso was like a bad thing. So he was like, when I went to Tech, every day I had my UTEP hat on because he got his undergrad from UTEP, you know? So he had his UTEP hat, he had his UTEP shirt. Like, he made it known, like, I'm from UTEP and I'm from El Paso. And like, to me, like, that instilled like having that sense of pride, like wherever you go in your career, like where you're from. And for us being that we were born and raised here, like it's El Paso. And like, that's something that you don't just forget about, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think like once you make it out of El Paso, it's something big, you know? So if you were to go and live somewhere else out of El Paso and make it and have a good career, like you're going to think like, yo, like I'm an El Pasoan that like did it, that fucking left the place that everybody else stays in, you know? And I think that has something to do with why people take so much pride. It's like, yeah, I made it and I'm still El Paso pride, you know, even though I'm not from El Paso.
Yeah. That's a good point.
It's the same. It's really weird. Like it's really the same. It's very similar to like a lot of, not that I'm not calling El Paso unique or anything, because like it definitely is a unique vibe here. The pride is maybe the most I've seen of any place I've been, but it's definitely that similar sentiment in a lot of like rural places or like a lot of non-major cities, I guess. Because like when I think about people from California, people from LA, like it's hilarious because people will be like, oh yeah, I'm from LA, or like I'm from California, I'm from SoCal, whatever. And like in reality, they're not from Los Angeles. They're from like Chino Hills, or they're from like, you know, San Bernardino. It's like, no, you're not from Los Angeles. You're from like this suburb. Whereas like El Paso, like you're from El Paso. You're living in it, and that's like you can claim it. Right. Whereas I think people, you know, who are transits like myself, it's harder to like claim a place. And I think, you know, I think we're kind of a little bit jealous of it, honestly, for being quite frank. Like I think
I would give it like from 1 to 10, like you asked us to. I would probably give it like a 9.5.
Yeah,
plus a 10.
I would give it a plus a 10. I would give it a straight like 9 because like obviously you don't want to be like flamboyant or ridiculous like El Paso every fucking day, fuck every other city, like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like kind of like what fucking Misa said, when you do, and it goes back to this other point, like I hate the mindset, and that you see this a lot when you grow up here, as that people like blame all their problems or like their failure and lack of success on El Paso. They're like, oh, there's no opportunity here. You can't do anything here. Like, I have to get away. Like, this place sucks. This isn't for me. Like, no, you know what? Like, fix your own shit. Get your shit together. Figure out what you're going to do and work hard, because every day there's a bunch of fucking people that go to work here and bust their ass. You know what I mean? And like, there's opportunity here. It's not the same as LA or Austin or Dallas, but to solely blame your lack of success or why you're not doing good in life on El Paso, that's not cool. I don't like that shit at all.
Yeah, no, and it's all an individual thing. Like if someone's actually gonna like legit blame like where they came from, like, oh yeah, this is why I'm the way I am. It's like, no, like you're a reaction to your environment.
Right.
You're not your environment.
Right.
So like, but yeah, I think it is interesting when it's like, oh yeah, like that person like got out of here, like that's crazy. It's just I wish it wasn't like that because like. I wish that there was like a lot more people here and a lot more like, things, I guess. I don't know. I think part of that, quite frankly, is maybe like the borderness of it. Like imagine if the border didn't exist and Juarez was a part of El Paso. Like imagine how much bigger it would be and how much more stuff there is or like a reason to come here, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
Dude, people think El Paso is part of Mexico.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a weird place. It's like a bubble almost. It's like, you're going to like the lost city of Atlantis. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But
Damn, we just got compared to Atlantis. I'll take that. Hell yeah. That's what's up, bro.
But Atlantis has never been found, though. That's what sucks.
Well, if you ever go looking for El Paso, you're never going to find it. So there you go. So before we do the 5 random questions, Keith, and we wrap up this podcast, we just kind of want you to tell us what do you see next for yourself, career-wise, life-wise? Like what's the next step for Mr. Keith Demolder here?
Jeez, I don't even know, man. I mean, it's crazy because like at this point, like I have aspirations. Like I'd love to get back to California one day. And honestly, in this career, it's such a weird thing because I always tell my friends, I'm like, oh, I wish I was an engineer. I wish I was like an accountant or whatever, because then I wouldn't have to leave. I wouldn't have to like go elsewhere. Like the competition for these jobs is just unbelievable. Like there's a job in San Diego, actually, that is working at the Fox station there, sports journalist there. And that was like, not like the dream job. I mean, it kind of is like to be back at San Diego. That's the dream. And so like this other girl got it, which is, totally fine. She deserved it. But that's how hard it is that there's one opening. There's one opening in the last like 5 years. Damn. Whereas in every other job, you have openings every single month, or whatever. Like, it's not like, it's not like in San Diego, there's 4 companies you can work for to be a dentist, and there's only like 2 spots at those 4 companies to do that. Right. Whereas in sports journalism, like that's the way it is. And so it's really, you got to be really patient and the timing just has to be right. And I've always been a big product of that because if like I believe in fate, whatever's meant to be is going to be. And that's kind of the way it is in the future. So like, where do I see myself next? I don't know. Cause like timing could happen where like for this job, like I there's a big chance that I could have not gotten this job and I could have been stuck in Montana or maybe I'd be out of a job because of COVID. Right. I don't even know, but it just worked out the way it did. And I got this job. So I assume that's probably what's going to happen next whenever that time comes, probably sometime around this time next year. I don't know what the future is going to hold with COVID. If everything's going to get back to normal, if people are going to start cutting because they realize it wasn't important enough, but I hope to move to a bigger market. Hope somewhere on the West Coast, like San Diego would be sick, but that's kind of a pipe dream. Maybe Fresno, maybe Portland. I don't know. It's hard to gauge at this point.
What would be your main like job, like dream job to have?
So the dream job, I used to tell people the dream job was to like call college basketball on ESPN, which still would be amazing. Because like the schedule would be very like flexible and like I'd be traveling everywhere, which would be nice. But honestly, it would be the West Coast edition hosting SportsCenter. Yeah. Like late night, living in LA, doing SportsCenter, like that's the dream.
Awesome, dude.
Do highlights. To do highlights every night, like, and to live in LA, that's just like such a luxury. Like that's such a luxury that in the business that people just don't get, like unless you're Colin Cowherd or, whoever else where you're stationed out there. Like that's just such just come like, that's the thing is like, as much as people look at like Colin Cowherd or like some of these other like big, Stephen A. Smith or whatever, like they came like from the dirt, so to speak, in the journalism world. Like plenty of people, they start in small markets like Montana or like El Paso or whatever, and then they move up. And so to get to that point, you just have to be so incredibly lucky. And that's the thing why a lot of people leave the industries, because they get to a point where it's like they're like 28 and they're still in like Roanoke, Virginia. And they're like, you know what? I don't think it's going to happen for me. I'm not going to hit it big. It's like being an actor. And it sucks because like there's a lot of really talented people that leave the business because they realize like, all right, this dream's not going to happen. But and that's a daily battle for me. I don't know daily, but it's definitely a battle that I think I'm like, is this worth it? If I look like long term in my life, like, and I look back, is the sacrifice going to make sense? Like, am I ever going to get to ESPN? Am I ever going to get to like Fox or like, you know, CBS or whatever? And that's, yeah, so it's hard, but I think like, you know, based on the way my career is going thus far, like I'm pretty confident. And also like, there's nothing else I want to do. There's nothing else I want to do in this life than talk about sports. So
Nice.
That's good. I think it also has to do with like just not quitting. You know, it's like me and Chris talk about it a lot. It's like, yo, you know, it might be sucks, you know, that we might have a little bit of views in this video, but you know what? We just have to be consistent and you just have to keep going. You know, and I heard a saying when you were saying about life advices earlier. It was one that I heard like I think like 2 days ago, and it was kind of like, you know, I'd rather aim high and miss than aim low and hit. Right. You know, and it's I think that's cool though, you know, and I'm sure we'll see you one day on ESPN. I'll be sitting down, and then, you know, my son's gonna be like, yo, I like that guy, and I'll be like, yo, I interviewed that dude.
Episode Nintendo 64, conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast.
Like that, but you have thousands of episodes. It's like, yo, Nintendo 64, look it up.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I like how honest and vulnerable you were with that answer, because you're saying like I can't really tell you where I'm gonna be because I don't know what opportunity is gonna present itself. And I don't know if maybe in a year I'll be in a different city on another podcast with some random guys that you met on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like it's really fluid, but it's also like I said when you said how vulnerable you are, because you're telling us like, hey, one day there might be a day where I have to make this decision. Like, hey, this isn't gonna work out, and everything that I've worked for, everything that I dreamt of, and everything that like I thought was gonna happen, it's probably not going to happen anymore. And that's like a real realization that for a lot of people, that would be like a very devastating thing for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, you know, that's the thing about me is like, because I know a lot of people that have like gone out of the business, and I don't blame them necessarily, because we get paid like garbage, and like this is across the board, and you know, it's a hard job. It's, you know, people are getting cut, jobs are getting consolidated. We're having to do more and getting paid less. And that's, you know, I get why there's a lot of frustration in that. But for me, like my parents sacrificed a lot to be able to like, you know, like pay for my school, and like for me to, you know, be able to go to USC was a huge blessing. And I don't know, for me, it's not about me. It's not about like me reaching my dreams. It's about me paying my parents back for what they've given me and how hard they worked to give me a better life. And about me giving my potential son or potential daughter, potential wife, a better life too in the future. Like that's why I'm here. That's why I went to Montana and dealt with the negative 15-degree winters and things like that. Is because like at the end of the day, like not the end of the day, but people say at the end of the day, it means like at the end of my life, when I'm dead, like before I die, like I don't want to go through life not having done it, because like then I won't feel fulfilled in my life. I don't know. It's just like we only get one life to live. Like, why not try? I don't know if you follow Shea Serrano on Twitter or not, but he's a good follow if you don't. But he said like, if somebody's going to get paid for it, why not you?
Right.
And so that's kind of my mentality. It's just like, you know what, like somebody's going to get this job. Somebody's going to be on ESPN. Why not me? Why not me? You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Give him a round of applause, Misa. Very good answer to that question. Good shit right there. Let's all go ahead and golf clap. Good shit. There we go. Hell yeah, man. Very good answer. That was very inspirational, and like you said, it's not about you necessarily. It's about fulfilling the chances and the opportunities that were presented to you by your parents, and also returning that favor to your potential son
But-
or wife. You know what I mean?
And it also has to do about taking that risk. It's like going for it. You know, you don't want to, like you said, at the end of the day, be like, what if I just went for it? That
Yeah,
time,
you don't want to
know?
look
Like,
back and be like, God damn it, I should have taken that chance, or I should have done this. Like, you know, in hindsight, you're gonna be like, God, dude, my life could have turned out so much different. You know, so. But it's glad that you spoke on all that, and like I said, that was a great answer. So let's get ready to wrap up this
that's
podcast.
some good advice.
Yeah, that's like the best advice. That was the better life advice than we were giving right now. So let's do 5 random questions with our boy Cowboy Keith, and then we'll wrap this shit up. So, Misa, do you know what time it is, Misa?
I think it is. It's that time. That's right, guys. It is time for the 5 random questions here in Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, hosted by your boy, Chris Market.
What is up, guys? Today, in this version of 5 random questions, we got 5 random questions for our boy Cowboy Keith, who's not really a cowboy, but his name's Keith, and his last name's Demolder, so we're going to go with that. So, Mr. Keith, are you ready for 5 random questions?
And he's lived in Montana.
I am ready, sir.
Okay. Whoa, we got a sir. Whoa, easy. Whoa.
That's how you know I'm from
Easy there,
El Paso.
cowboy.
I say sir.
Easy there, cowboy.
Easy there. Okay, so I know we talked about you not being able to like fully experience the city because of COVID, but have you found a favorite place to eat here in EP?
Ooh. If I'm being quite frank, and also might be a little bit basic, I'm gonna have to go with I was gonna say Wendy's, no, but no, I'm kidding. Honestly, okay, if we're gonna talk about like the best place I've eaten, well, that's tough. I don't know if I have a favorite place. I actually cook a lot. Like follow the @I'm Cooking with Keith on Instagram.
Oh, I am
cooking Instagram because I cook a lot. But
yeah.
There it is.
but if I do go out to eat, like let's say it's late night or something like that, like I'm just gonna say this for the record. The Whataburger burger is trash. Like the Whataburger regular burger is garbage.
The
I'm sorry.
number one. Yeah. It's not the
When
best.
It's not a number one.
When you've had In-N-Out and when you've had like other places, like it's just not even that good. But the Whataburger chicken finger sandwich is the bomb, and that's like a common late night like
The honey
I'm
barbecue
feeling
chicken
bad.
strip sandwich.
Yes, the barbecue chicken strip sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
That's super good. But if we're talking about like best Mexican food or whatever, I've been to a couple places. I'm being honest, kind of been a little bit of a letdown in comparison to San Diego.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Keith, that means you're not going to the right places, man.
Yeah, dude, for real.
all that
Okay,
means.
okay. I've gone to a certain number of them. I maybe haven't tried as much as I should, but
Okay.
I mean, you know what? We're not gonna blame you. It is COVID season.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what.
But
that's
what we're gonna
exactly
do,
what it
Mr.
is.
Keith, is I'm gonna take the responsibility on this, and it's gonna be my responsibility to take you to a good ass Mexican restaurant,
Or at least drop off some food.
Or
for you.
yeah, and it's not gonna be fucking garbage. Okay, so I will do that. Okay, for you as a token of appreciation for today.
Yeah.
How
So
about
change
that?
your mind on that, and then you know what? But Chris, maybe that's gonna make them stay in El Paso forever.
Hey, that's a side
Exactly.
effect, man.
It's
Who
harder
knows?
to leave, dog. Come on.
Okay, question number 2. And this is a hypothetical, or not hypothetical, but this is just a question that I want you to think long and hard about, okay? Is it always true to work smarter and not harder?
Sorry.
Before I answer that, I will say the El Cometa. I don't know if it's on Zaragoza or whatever one is. The one on the east side is a hell of a lot better than the one on Mesa. The one on Mesa is
Shots
garbage.
fired. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
Okay.
as well.
That's fine.
Anyways.
Alcometa's a good place. So at least
Yeah.
you've actually tasted some genuine Mexican food. So
Oh yeah, no, I've gone to some like I went to this what is it, Crisostomo?
Cristosimos, the burrito place.
Burrito place right there on Mesa.
Yeah. Not good. Not good.
It's not your best.
Go to Los Jarrones right there on Red.
Okay, I'll try that out. But anyways, to answer your question, work smarter, not harder. I'd say sometimes. I think when people say work smarter, not harder, they just think that they're being like they think they're being efficient, but in reality, they're just being lazy. I think like you have to work hard always, but I think that people think that you need to work hard all the time and not put any thought into what you're doing. Like I think it's like I don't know, trying to like push a boulder or something when in reality you could just like, or it's like scooping up like dirt with your hands when in reality you could use a shovel and get it done twice as fast.
Right.
So you need both of them. You need to work smart. You need to have an efficient way to do it that's like actually intelligent, but you also need to like follow through and have that commitment of working hard.
Hey, there you go. That was a well thought out answer.
Hey,
right
Mr.
there.
Producer, can you write that
Did
shit
you write
down
that
too?
shit down?
I already jotted it down.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
We get that?
You should see the stylus in my hand. I was right.
Okay, yeah,
You
he's
got
got
it.
the Galaxy Note 2. So yeah, he's still using the stylus. Okay, question number 3. If you ever won the lottery, what would be the first thing that you would buy?
Okay, first thing like that I would selfishly buy for myself.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, a house, a car.
First thing I buy for myself. I'd buy an iPhone. That's what I would do.
Buy an iPhone?
I have an Android right now, so constant crap for it. And they're like, oh, green text. Wow, Keith. I'm like, whatever. It has to with the late.
Look at him. We got a producer over here having a hard time with his.
With his Android. You green texting loser.
It's the worst, man. But yeah, I'd buy an iPhone. Probably.
What would you buy,
That'd be like
Chris?
the only thing I'd splurge on or something. Yeah, it'd be an iPhone.
I would buy shit. I would probably. All right, what were you gonna say?
Sorry, an electric guitar. I'd buy an electric guitar with an amp. That's what
Wow,
I'd buy.
nice. I would buy shit. I don't know. Maybe like I don't know, just like a nice crib so we can build like a nice podcast studio. How about that?
Dude,
I was gonna say, what you guys got going on right now looks pretty cool to me. Like that's more professional than I do.
Hey,
oh, dude,
well,
you should see the rest of the room.
Yeah, you should see what the backside of this camera looks like. Just kidding.
No, it's not bad, dude.
It's a little room that we converted into a studio. So it's a multi-purpose office. You know, we can do photo shoots in here if we have to. But
Chris
yeah,
is
it's not that
family
bad.
over here spends the night on the table.
Question number 4: do you tell someone when their zipper is down, or is it every man for himself?
Yes, I will. And I think that goes along with that same question of like, if somebody's breath smells bad, or if somebody like has BO, or somebody like has food in their teeth. Like, I actually had this the other day with a coworker of mine, and he smelled bad. And I like with BO, it's always like. It's always a weird thing because you don't want to make someone feel bad about themselves or self-conscious or whatever. But I think everybody genuinely appreciates when someone's honest with them. I think that's just the way it is in general. Like everybody likes honest people. So, I would want to know. Say if I looked like ugly or like, oh yeah, Keith, you got like a massive whatever like on your face. I'd be like, oh crap. And then, but like
You got to change
someone
your face,
doesn't
bro.
tell you that, and it's like, oh, you're not looking out for me. So I always will tell people like, hey, watch out for this thing. And they're like, oh, thanks. Because you're better off for having told them and them fixing it. But if it's something that somebody can't fix in like 2 seconds, then don't tell them. Like if you're like, oh, you look fat today. It's like, okay, I can't change that I look fat. Like, I'm sorry, So it's just that's the line is like, can they fix it in 30 seconds? Yes or no? That's how you know.
They're like, hey, Chris, you look awfully bloated today. Well, no, I'm not bloated.
Sorry,
Just,
Chris. I didn't mean to tell you this, but you're going live. In
No,
30
but like
seconds.
Misa, dude, like he always comes over. He's like, how do I and his thing is stay fresh, right? When he signs off from the pod, but he's always like, you smell my cologne and shit, and I'm like, dude, you smell like straight fucking ass. You know what I mean? And then he's like, he doesn't ever believe me, and then he just goes on with his day.
But what about you, Chris? Are you that type of guy that like you didn't even have to be friends with him or even know him? Would you?
No,
tell
I'm not
him?
gonna tell him, dude. Nope.
No?
Everyone, you're on your own, guys. Sorry.
Nah, I'm that type of guy is like maybe like not in front of everybody,
Pull him to the side.
but then like if I see him by himself, I'll just go up to him and like, yo, bro, no homo. Your zipper's down.
Zip your shit up, homie. Okay, question number 5, last question. Mr. Keith, the best part of waking up is?
Hold your steam.
Yes! Bro, I love when we drop that question randomly.
It's answered.
And the guest always
correctly.
fucking knocks it out the park.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
I actually don't drink coffee, so it's
It
not
doesn't
bullshit.
matter, bro.
What?
It don't matter.
No sea mamón.
Cop.
You are one pathetic loser.
Jesus, dude.
Bro,
Wait.
coffee drinker or not?
This dude don't drink coffee.
This dude does not drink coffee. Mr. Cowboy Keith does not drink coffee. But, dude, that was great. I love how people can answer that question. All I have to say is the best part of waking up is...
It's Folgers in your cup. Yeah.
There you go. Beautiful. Hell yeah. All right, guys. So with that being said, that wraps up our 5 random questions with our boy Keith Demolder. Let's go ahead and go around the virtual Zoom meeting here. Let's give our final thoughts on today's podcast, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Mr. Dolph over here. Final thoughts on today's pod, bro. What's going on?
Another slapper for your mama.
Hey, there you go. Slapper for your mama. Nice. Misa, final thoughts today.
Keith, man, I just want to say thanks, bro. Thanks for giving us your time. Your story is fun, man. It's great. Don't forget about Paso, man. Once you leave, I know you're not gonna forget about Paso. You're not gonna forget about Chris and me. But I wish you luck in your career and whatever you do. Everybody listening, make sure to follow this guy. I can't wait to see your cooking videos, man. I didn't know you cooked. So yeah, guys, go check that out. You guys are watching. Make sure to stay safe and stay fresh.
Hey, Mr. Keith. Final thoughts on today's podcast.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying all that. And final thoughts, I guess I have. I don't know. Well, I guess here's what I'll say. Just like a little more inspiration. Like this past year, like being here, I was inside a lot. Like, I mean, I've been inside all day today, except for like going to the gym. But like I picked, I've been cooking for a while, but like I picked up like here, actually, let me go grab it. I picked up painting as well. Check it out.
Shit.
Oh, dang.
Damn, that's what's up,
it's
dude.
like it's like there's a famous painting called Nighthawks, and it's like people in a cafe, but they're pumpkin heads instead of like people heads.
That's awesome.
Right.
Dude.
So for the podcast only, the podcast audio only version of this, Mr. Keith actually just went and grabbed a canvas that he had on the side of him, and he showed it to us. It was a really nice painting. So that's what's up, dude. That shit looks nice.
Yeah. Final point I want to say is just like, it's just like what COVID has taught me, and just throughout this whole thing, is that like life is just, it really is too short. It is so short. And like, if, you need any reason to do what you want to do, a pandemic is the number one thing. Like, just do it. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, go do whatever. If you want to try to like be an actor, go to some classes, or like go start whatever. I don't know. Like, start like making videos with your friends. Like, we were locked up inside for the whole summer, and that sucked. So if you are making excuses now or when COVID ends as to not do something, like, I don't want to hear it, because we were locked up inside for the whole summer. So like, there's literally nothing stopping you from doing what you want. Go chase your dreams, because like at the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, like, you're not going to regret like having done something you wanted ever. That's just not the way it works. So yeah, don't let people hold you back. El Paso is a great place. And I don't know, stay safe. Let's hope we get these cases down. I don't know.
There you go. That's a good sign off from Mr. Mr. Keith right there. Good job. Good job. We really like that. So, final thoughts today, guys. Episode Nintendo 64 of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Once again, man, thank you for being on here. I know we tried to get this scheduled like a few times, and it was like one time I was sick, one time this shit happened. And so like, luckily we were able to fucking get this in, because I didn't want you to think that we weren't trying to get this interview done. So thank you for spending time with us today. We actually, on the second half, we've hit an hour and 13 minutes. So this
2 hours.
this podcast has been flowing, so that's good. That's what we want, because that's how we know the conversation is good. So thank you for being here once again. I wish you the best of luck in your career. We are not strangers, man. We can be friends. We are here to show you everything about El Paso that you need to know. So thank you again. Dolph, thank you for being the producer today. Misa, thank you, co-host. Another good episode. And with all that being said, guys, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, episode number Nintendo 64. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, YouTube, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, rate, and review. So with all that being said, guys, we are...
It's dope.